Been a bit since the last episode. Should be fine mentally to do at least one more for now.
They will hate us. There'll be no difference.
The call to action.
Yep. Why'd they put emphasis on the gun like someone was about to die?
What about you? Aren't you going to do that too? Didn't think about everyone you could hurt?
Yeah, what the fuck were you thinking you'd do exactly? Why are you barging into a hospital? Even if you somehow follow what Spinner's saying, why the fuck do you think you're barging into a fucking hospital? What the fuck does that achieve?
Try to stop them from coming in!
Are they gonna explain anything about what happened with Koda's head?
Too many.
Or is saying his mom's horns got bigger the supposed explanation? Why would literally everyone stop?
We might be channeling our anger the wrong way.
Everyone in this society must be blamed for turning a blind eye to our suffering. Think of how terribly you've been treated.
I am thinking about it! So many have abused me for no reason. Remembering those incidents makes my blood boil.
I'm doubling speed. I want to get through this fucking plot
Will
line.
laugh at me if I wait for
Now.
Was I wrong? Should I have just stayed quiet at home and hope for the best? No, your feelings are valid. You are not wrong for wanting to change the world for the better. We can make sure those who oppress us are ashamed of their actions. We'll show
Uh-huh. That'll
Sarge,
happen.
It's not.
There. It was nighttime and the city was on fire, and we transitioned from that to Jesus. I was gonna say before that nonsense got pulled that somehow 15,000 people stopped rioting and fighting because one guy was talking kinda quietly to someone next to him. This is awful. These two episodes have been Attack on Titan ending level bad. It's,
Since that day,
as far as I'm concerned, it's unforgivably bad. But I think we're done with that plot line now. Racism has been solved in 30 minutes. Let's go.
you need to remember who you are. Go save Shigaraki and the others.
There is no way someone as broken as Spinner was there could walk that far without President Mike doing anything.
You can't go after him, Todoroki. He'll burn you up as well. Phosphor already pushed you to the edge.
Everybody's hitting their...
Todoroki is the only one who can reasonably fight Dabi. Not only does he have fire powers, which makes him extremely resistant to fire, if not basically immune, he also has ice. He was basically made to defeat people with fire and ice quirks, because he can perfectly counter them.
Someone's covered your travel costs.
Interesting. Okay, so Shuttle and Ida are completely useless now.
Some deaths have ramifications.
I'm so glad Toga showed up a single time in these past 8 episodes that we'd know what's going on in their fight. And this wouldn't just feel like a, oh, okay, I guess that's happened now. Like, this isn't a surprising thing. We got the setup for her turning into twice. This isn't surprising that it happened. It's just like, okay, I guess it happened. When you have setup for something, it happening is not a surprising thing, but you should still show it happening because that's what a payoff is. A payoff is not showing the setup, skipping how it happens, and then showing what happens after it happens. That's not how you structure stuff. How did Kurogiri know to do this? The villains didn't know where they'd be. His quirk is location-based, not person-based. How did he know? It's not like Spinner said anything. Whatever.
Destroy the clones! Do it now!
I mean, now that they're all in a portal in the sky, they're gonna die the moment they land on the ground. Now you want to show this fight, huh? Did you think her turning into Twice was a plot twist?
Kimiko Toga never acted with a broader strategy in mind. She simply did whatever she wanted to do. However,
Why are we doing this Shibuya incident narrator?
I have to decide now.
No joy. Okay, at least we didn't do that. Who's the real one, Shtuck?
Scatter me across the battlefields, Kurogiri!
She's copied everyone else's voice before. Why not this one? Why didn't Dabi give...
Behind this, dummy!
Why didn't Dabi give her any of his blood? How do you make a war so uninteresting? I mean, so far, how many things have mattered? All for One used the rewind, because that puts a time limit on what he can do until he's gone. Bakugo getting blown up. Mirko losing an arm really doesn't mean anything. She barely did anything to begin with, and she can use her legs and her teeth and probably headbutt someone and kill them instantly. Deku hitting Shigaraki hasn't done anything yet. So, in terms of meaningful events so far, Kurogiri's been freed, All for One used the rewind, and Bakugo was blown up. That's it. There's an argument to be made about Mirko losing another limb and Dabi learning the skill Shoto used. But other than that, nothing of real substance has happened. In about 10 episodes of this. Yeah, compare this to the Liberation War. Things started picking up in episode 1, but they began in earnest in episode 2. Then they ended in episode 13? I'm sorry, in episode 20 we're still dealing with the effects of something that just happened at the end of 15? I know I shouldn't be reading ahead, but like, can you fucking blame me at this point? Yeah, okay, so I would say half of episode 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 are the main episodes of the war, and then I'd say probably around half of 13. So 2 halves plus 2 through 12. So in total, 12 episodes essentially. We are 2 episodes away from the war here having gone for that long, because the battle started in episode 7 after episode 6 had them all taken away. So we're at 10 episodes. Because 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15... Okay, we're at 9 episodes. The next one will be the 10th. But that means we're 3 episodes less than the entirety of the Liberation War. Are you seeing the issue yet? In the amount of time that the last war took, this war has had Bakugo get a major injury, All for One rewinding himself, and Kurogiri being freed. Those are the major events. Meanwhile, in this, Mirko got taken out of the fight, high-end Nomus were introduced, and the doctor was captured. Twice died. Shigaraki woke up, destroyed the city, killed many heroes. Crust died. Gigantomachia got loose. Toga killed various backup heroes. Gigantomachia versus UA students happened. We got an entire Bakugo flashback and him almost dying. We got the entirety of the sequence within the, Quirk universe, where we had the confrontation between All for One and One for All. And that's about where we'd be if this was the same pacing as the war, which means next episode is Dabi's dance. You know, the height of what happens in that arc. That's where things peak. That's the climax. Meanwhile, where we are now in the war, we've basically just reset the fight. All for One has no damage taken. Dabi and Toga just got involved and powered up. Deku just arrived to fight Shigaraki. The fight has basically just started over. And we're almost at the point in the period of time where the last war was reached against peak. Are you seeing why I'm criticizing the pacing? Okay. It's been a day, and I've spent the last, hour watching anime bloopers and being Maguka is suffering, so I'm in a good mood right now. So hopefully I can enjoy these episodes a bit more. Hopefully they're not full of really poorly handled racism. Not sure how we're going to end this, but I'm really curious how long Season 8's going to be, because that's probably the final season, right? The manga's officially over. I feel if the war goes on for much longer, it's just going to be so boring after a while. Maybe that's because the first giant chunk of it so far has been extremely slow so far, and honestly feels like filler. The amount of flashbacks and character moments that happened throughout those episodes that slowed down the pace of the actual fights, I feel they could have done less in terms of flashbacks, focused a bit less on Shigaraki, and just in general shortened stuff down a bit so that where we were at now would happen sooner. Because the fight's basically just been given a hard reset at this point. The plan to separate them all has failed after Toga did literally nothing from where she was separated. The only thing that happened with her after the separation was her talking to Deku, and that could have happened, literally in the original arena that they got teleported from. Also, all the villains have now been powered up, and all the heroes are at their limit. So, kind of reaching the point where every single hero is going to need to go Super Saiyan. That, or we bring focus to other characters, because we haven't seen Class B this whole time. Monoma's the only one we've seen. They could absolutely bring in Melissa and David if they want to be cool and actually make the movies canon. I'm going to say it. SAO has arguably the best handling of an anime movie ever, because it is hard canon. The first episode of Season 3, they reference the events of the movie, but it's also not insanely crucial. You're not required to have watched it, by any means. The events of it do not heavily tie into other stuff, but it's not like it never happened. On top of that, it's just a good movie. I feel like all three My Hero movies so far have just not been great. Sure, the animation's nice, but the plot's really whatever. Even the second one, which a lot of people like, that is more just pure fan service, with Bakugo getting all for one. I mean, the other ones are fan service too, with the third one having giant fights for Shoto, Bakugo, and Deku. Those final fights were just pure fan service for those characters, and that's all that the movie cared about, considering they went on a worldwide mission and we got 30 seconds of other characters, because they wanted to focus on a friendship with a character that Deku never sees again. Really? Actually, no, the SAO movie is straight up required. Major characters that are introduced in it play a role later on. So I'm one of the people who likes SAO, but for the rest of you, for all the people who hopped on the bandwagon of not liking SAO when you haven't even watched the fucking show in its entirety, how does it feel knowing SAO handled a climactic final battle type storyline better than this show is doing? War of the Underworld was so much better than this. Frankly, it might be the best war arc I've seen in an anime. Anyway, My Hero, that's what we're doing right now. Sorry.
I want to kill Hawks, then slaughter every other hero.
Could they not get Twice's voice actor back for some reason?
Too many. We won't have room to move, much less fight. I'm not losing sight of you again! You've kept so many feelings locked away.
Huh. Wasn't expecting that. But, good. They're the only characters we saw there who were relevant, and they would not be able to get back otherwise. I'm surprised I didn't think of that. So, the Mushroom Girl can just kill all those Twices. Well, thinking back to Season 5, I think her teammates had to use some kind of spray or something to avoid getting the mushrooms on them. So, yeah, I guess she can't use it indiscriminately unless it's prepared. Okay. I mean, with how much thought went into this operation, they should have prepared that. Because, even if it was like 1,000v1 kind of deal, like, odds are she could deal with almost all of them single-handedly. Her quirk, being able to create mushrooms inside of a person, is completely broken. I mentioned that before, and I will continue to mention it.
We still haven't had our talk about boys and romance.
I'm pretty sure that was the same recording for that line from Ochako.
We still haven't had our talk about boys and romance. We still haven't had our talk about boys and romance. We still haven't had our talk about boys and romance.
I feel like this opening was a weird choice. After they started using this one, everything went to hell. Not even like on a me criticizing the show level, on like a things get worse for the heroes level. I'm pretty sure the episode that was introduced is when Bakugo got fucked up. Shigaraki went into phase 2 and took out almost everyone. Mirko lost another arm. Dabi got back up. Kurogiri got awoken. Spinner got to Kurogiri and awoke him. Brought over the other guys. Toga got twice his blood ingested. All for one rebound. Like, things have exclusively gotten worse since this opening started. I also can't help but feel like Spinner is out of the picture, I feel. I think he's served the only role the story needed for him. And all of the other major villains are here, and then Shigaraki's back at the coffin. But most of our heroes are in other locations. Like, Shota and Ida are now out of the picture. With Bakugo, like, sure, he's injured out of the picture, but, like, Shota and Ida just can't get to where the fight is now. I mean, Ida might be able to get back here, or to get here, and bring Shoto, but the speed at which he'd need to go would make him pretty much useless. Granted, Ida has done nothing of note since Season 2. Remember when he was one of the, like, main 3 in this show? I feel like this show would have greatly benefited from the writer merging different characters together. I think having the sizes of both classes would have cut out fluff and made each character more substantial. Because, like, I feel like a lot of the arcs that various characters have could have been had by anyone, and details of their personality could have been details of another characters as well. And by having so many, almost none get focus, even ones who are supposed to be major characters.
Where do we even begin?
Okay, Endeavor, you could literally just do a giant blast of fire. You can kill these guys.
His teleportation ability has a longer effective range than the inferior sludge warp I use. Perhaps I should have saved it for myself.
Probably.
Alas,
I honestly think it's kind of weird he didn't use that.
he's still not complete in the truest sense.
What the hell do you define as complete?
The poor man's lost an arm and is barely able to stand up.
I forgot that.
Go against your
Been focusing a lot on this chain of events throughout the years and butterfly effect stuff. Okay, why did they bring
What?
stuff here?
Yamada.
Ah! Yeah, something all the battlefields. That makes sense. Oh, that's what the imagery from Boku no was. Okay. Okay, so everyone just died, right? That was a giant explosion.
Wanna have another little chat at the mall? Get over yourself, hero. You know exactly who I am. You're villain.
I would actually be down for another chat like they had in Season 2.
That's Shigaraki talking.
I wish it was Shigaraki the whole time.
In my hands. This is liberation.
Actually, hang on. Oh, that's why I would prefer Shigaraki. Deku and All For One have never held a conversation together. Uh-huh. That would be why All For One being Deku's opponent is as underwhelming a concept as it is. That explains it. Deku and Shigaraki haven't really met a ton, but they have interacted. They do kind of have an understanding of one another and what the other is like as a person. The one time Deku has talked with All For One was a pre-recorded message from All For One that was set up as a trap. I'm pretty sure it was pre-recorded. The building that blew up. I'm pretty sure That is the only time Deku has interacted with All For One in the entire story. He was at Kamino Ward, but he didn't talk to All For One. And after Kamino Ward, All For One was locked away. And before that, All For One never showed his face anywhere. Meanwhile, Shigaraki and Deku don't have the best dynamic by any means, but they do have a dynamic. There was some degree of conflict between the two of them in Season 1. The Season 2 finale is still one of the highlights for both of their characters, I feel. After that, they don't really interact until Season 6, at which point there's already kind of a difference in Shigaraki, and he's already kind of turning into All For One. So, like, not a great dynamic by any means, but they do have a dynamic. Like, they've talked. That's important. It's important for characters who don't, like, have a strong interest in each other. Like, Deku doesn't really care much about All For One, which is completely fair. He's been locked up for almost the entire story. And there was about 20 episodes before that, and then that Deku even knew about him. So, like, yeah, he's not been thinking much about All For One. So, like, I paused again to clarify on this, because in Fate Zero, Kiritsugu and Kirei never have a conversation until after their battle, but their dynamic is still incredible because of the fact that the entire show they're trying to figure out what's the other's deal. Because they're the complete inverse of each other. Kiritsugu is a good person who has the things that make most people happy, but sacrifices them in order to achieve a dream he can't get. Kirei is a bad person who has tried to experience the things that bring normal people joy, and lost them, and then didn't even care to begin with. And their complete lack of understanding of the other person as a person makes their dynamic compelling. But with Deku and All For One, Deku barely thinks about All For One.
Feels like I'm suffocating. It's the backlash from that overpowered gear shift. If I don't let my body recover, I can't take in enough oxygen.
I told you.
Like, his body is exerting itself so much that the oxygen he's taking in isn't enough? Or is that just, like, an arbitrary limitation for that power without any real reasoning?
Found ya! About time you showed yourself. I admit you're pretty good at this.
Huh?
But you were never going to hide from me for very long. Because I'm doing this for Gentle's sake.
They are bringing them back! Okay!
The evac system's down!
Why did it take them this long to bring those guys in?
Back up.
She's hijacking our programs with this vile feline!
Okay.
But
This is a very similar issue with Mirio. In Season 6, Mirio just showed up out of fucking nowhere with his quirk back after being gone for pretty much a full season and a half. I will give it this. This is not nearly as sudden, but it's been 2.5 full seasons more since Gentle and La Brava have even been referenced. And the fact that they're clearly now working with the heroes makes me question why Gentle wasn't on the field to begin with. The last time we saw Gentle, he was discussing with the police the idea of, like, a redemption for him. Which is why I'm not, like, incredibly surprised with the events here, because there actually was some degree of setup. The problem is that it was 2.5 seasons ago, and it was never followed up on. And on top of that, there's no real reason for them to have waited. Like, La Brava, sure, I guess. There's not much reason for her to be hacking, even though a while ago they knew that someone was trying to hack in, and she could have been counter-hacking this entire time. But, like, Gentle he's a fighter, not a support. I don't really see why they would have him out of the fight. There he is. And he's already coming in buffed. That's interesting. Because that doesn't last very long.
If it means I get to repay the boy.
Really. This arc is already cramped beyond fucking belief. anything that requires a flashback should have been done prior, because we also needed more time to build up into this. This happened so suddenly. The last war ended episode 13 of season 6. The after effects lasted until episode 24. That is 12 episodes of last season and then 5 episodes of this season before the war started. That's 17 episodes between two of the wars. The only 2 wars in the show. And the show is likely going to end at almost 200 episodes. 17 episodes between the 2 wars is not enough. Especially when only 6 of those episodes are like the gap between the wars, where you're not dealing with the after effects of the first war. There needed to be more of a break. And like in that time, you could develop anything that's going to be a big moment in this, like Gentle and Labrava coming back. Because like, I feel like there's going to be some people who legitimately forgot those 2 existed. They only showed up in what a lot of people consider the worst arc of the show. And, I mean, season 6 aired, I remember Hero 2 I watched in quarantine. So that was 2020, maybe back into 2019. So that is 5 years apart to when they return. No, it would be 4 years. 4 years apart until they return. Like... Okay, man.
Never thought I'd get the chance to finish off my hit list.
I don't know what's happening, but I love it. You're gonna regret locking me away.
This is a funny world
What do you
where
think you're doing?
all criminals are actually monsters.
Some people will tell you that there are no do-overs in life. But that's for those who don't want to change. 7 prisons were broken into. But this is the only one that didn't have a single escapee.
What was the point of that conversation he had with the police dude if they just sent him to fucking jail after it? Like, yeah, he committed crimes and he's gonna be locked up, but like, why talk about second chances and stuff if you're not gonna do anything to like rehabilitate him in like a meaningful way? This makes it dumber. This makes the storyline worse. Also, I really wish they made his hair any other color. The white makes him look so much older than he's supposed to be, and it makes his relationship with Labrava feel so weird. I get that her being that short is a character design decision, and not her actually being like really young, but like, even if she's like 24 or whatever, this man looks 40. It's like, at least 40s. It's a weird relationship. They made him look too old and they made her look way too young. It just feels uncomfy. Okay, what the hell is this dude gonna do against Shigaraki though?
I simply wanted to be of help.
It's you.
So I will say, despite all the criticisms I've had, I think after the flashback happened, everything from that and up to right here is probably the best moment of this show since the war started.
No matter how far they fall.
Set shit up beforehand. When something is an actual plot twist, then you can reveal the stuff after the fact. Like the really specific details, it should still have set up. But when something is a moment that's not incredibly surprising, I mean, this arc is the end game arc. It makes sense to bring every character back. Having it be like a surprise reveal honestly makes it worse, because they should be coming back. Have the setup happen first, and then have the moment where they come back be impactful. Deku still doesn't know any of them are coming back. That can still be an emotional moment, an impactful moment. And we don't know when they're coming back, so it would still be a surprising moment. And instead of focusing on, huh? We'd focus on, holy shit! This is making me want to rewatch Sword Art Online Season 4. Because I feel like a lot of the criticisms I've had with this were things that show did better. Frankly, this makes me wish the show was longer and had more arcs focusing on villains somewhere between Gentle and Shigaraki. Because, like, Overhaul is a bit too far gone. Though, if his quirk evolved, they could absolutely get him on their side by offering him the chance to get his grandfather back. That is absolutely an option that they have, if he were able to use his quirk in another way. Which I don't think is a completely unreasonable thing. Like, we've seen quirks evolve. But, like, there should have been some more villains who were in the middle ground between, wow, you're a complete fucking monster, you should be locked up forever or die, and you are incredibly sympathetic and you should never have been a villain in the first place. This is really sad for your story. Villains who were somewhere more in the middle of that, I think, would have made Deku's Season 6 arc more compelling and would have added way more supports to the fight later on here. And I think would have been more meaningful than Nagant and Gentle, who were like, yeah, of course they're good guys. Like, Gentle barely did any worse than Robin Hood. Robin Hood was more evil than Gentle was. And Nagant was just so broken by the world that she believed a world of chaos made more sense. More villains like Nagant, but who actually, made a bit more sense in their argument, would have been better. Because Nagant's argument doesn't really make sense. Like, the world sucks, so let's make it worse. But I think having slightly less redeemable villains joining this fight would have been more impactful. And part of Deku's arc in Season 6 is the idea of he never got to know or understand the villains that he fought and never really bothered to see if they could have been saved in any way. He just fought them because they had to be fought. And I mean, part of the problem with that is the villains he's fought were Tomura, which he fought briefly, Stain, who is an extremist who definitely wouldn't have been able to be talked down and openly expressed his beliefs and his reasons, so kind of irrelevant. Muscular, who he later did try to talk to and realized, yeah, okay, no reasoning with him. Overhaul, a complete fucking sociopath and a murderer and a child torturer, so not exactly a lot of sympathy to be had there, even if there is a level of reason to his actions. Gentle, who was incredibly sympathetic to the point that it almost didn't make sense for him to be a villain in the first place. And La Brava, who is more or less the same. And then Nagant. That's every villain that Deku's fought. 7. But let's see how this progresses.